servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so thrilled to have you join us today. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of doing business and living life with a purpose. We believe when we approach our work and our lives with a servant's heart, we can truly make a difference. Now, we created this show. We want everyone to be motivated, inspired, and educated to make an impact in your world. When you listen to my guests today, we're going to talk about something that's going to impact everybody's world. So take your pen and paper out. I want you to think about today while you're listening to my great guest, who you're going to serve today and what impact you're going to create today. Again, the key word is today. I get comments, I didn't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, and then a month goes by and they haven't done it. Take action today, right after you listen to this guest. By the way, when you listen to him, you're going to be motivated to make an impact and serve, because that's what this guy does in spades. Today's episode is proudly sponsored by our incredible partner, Pantheon Alliance. Imagine being part of an exclusive community of high-income, successful business owners and entrepreneurs from very diverse industries, together building a thought leader platform to impact and change the world. For more information, reach out to me and I'll get you all set up. With that being said, hey, Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, Steve, how are you today?
I'm incredible. How are you doing?
Incredible. I am so thrilled to be on this amazing podcast. I love your work and I'm just so honored to be here. Thank you.
A little brief synopsis of all this. We met in June. I still remember sitting at the hotel bar. We connected right away and we just taken off from there. And you really want to listen to some of the things he's doing, because there's a million life insurance agents, a million coaches, but what's going to separate you? Disruption. Talk about total disruption. What that means.
So total disruption is the space between information and action. There's a huge gap, okay? And my partner, Jake Glendenning, and I figured out in the coaching world and in the space of people trying to succeed at goals, whether it's personal or professional, that there's that space where, okay, I've got all the tactics, I know what I want to do, and then there's implosion because of lack of education on the action triggers. And that's total disruption. It's designed to wake you up. It's a movement of people doing things. It's people teaching other people how to do stuff. It's Jake and myself interpreting information from great people like yourself and other folks out there swinging the bat every single day, bringing it to people, teaching people how you guys are doing it, to help people maximize their life, their goals, and their self-esteem, quite frankly.
And an audience, when you swing a bat with Jake and Mike, it's just not a home run for you sports fans. It's a grand slam. And that's total disruption. But Mike, I've talked to people, they've seen your show. I've talked to people about your show. They go, yeah, disruption's Apple when they made the phone, Bezos when we made Amazon, Elon Musk the disruptor. Those are big dudes. How can I, as an entrepreneur, be a total disruptor?
Well, that's where we come in and we showcase what other entrepreneur peers are doing. We take the Bezos of the world, but we also take the Lee the Veronicas, the Steve Ramonas, the everyday entrepreneurs who are out there living the work, doing the work, getting massive results, using techniques and tactics that aren't necessarily traditional. And we're taking those, interviewing people, and basically breaking down these lessons. So we're an aggregate of all the information out there and guiding it into action steps for people, that gap between, again, information and action.
Can anybody be a disruptor?
Anybody can if they put their mind to it. Sure.
Taking that next
Everybody's
step.
got the everybody has the potential to be a disruptor. The first step in being a disruptor is realizing there's some place you want to go. There's some place you are. There's a space in between. You can model other people, but ultimately you are going to have to get yourself there, and you just have to be willing to disrupt your pattern and make that happen.
You guys come in as the accountability partner. I'm hearing that gap. Hey, Steve, let's fix this. Let's find out what that is so they can make that bridge or road to where they need to go, right?
If you have to put it into one word, it could be accountability, but during the accountability, there's about 7 or 8 different triggers to fire somebody off to take action. And you'll see no matter who it is that has done and reached massive success, there's about 8 different triggers, and in about, I mean, it could be up to 20, but we'll say 8 for argument's sake, or it could be an infinite amount depending on the naysayers out there. 8's a great number. There's different techniques and different ideas and different models you can follow to start triggering that action and to sustain the action. Because Steve, you and I both know it's one thing to take the first step. It's a whole other thing to keep walking.
Yeah, that's so well said. I've known him since June. I'm learning some great things today. Another thing I learned from you is you're in the fitness industry. I don't know if you know this. My family and I own health clubs for 22 years.
Now that's a kindred spirit right there.
Yes.
I built a personal training, wellness, fitness, and rehabilitative business from being a personal trainer that was a weekend certified guy. Seriously, I was a weekend certified guy, and within a year, I'll say within 24 months, completely, I was talking to doctors, I was getting therapy referrals, I was doing things and helping people in ways that I never thought possible. And my life was so fulfilled, as you know, when you're in that industry. Part of that industry is people feeling good. They're coming in the gym, they're doing things, they're taking action. Just showing up half the time is part of the deal, right? Wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely. That's the big one of the big parts.
So if I may just take away from that real quick, the other part of that is I happen to be fortunate enough to work in an area that was full of one percenters. It was a DC metro area. It was inside the Beltway and a little bit outside the Beltway. And those of you on the East Coast realize DC Beltway, right? That's the capital. There's a huge, huge, huge amount of people that have accomplished great things, both philanthropically, personally, and business-wise. I mean, Montgomery County, Maryland is one of the top wealthiest counties in the country. Okay. I had a privilege of working around these people in a way that was adjacent to their everyday life. So I could get information from these people about how they thought, about what their daily patterns were, about things they used to create this massive success. Some were handed the money and they didn't screw it up. Some started with nothing and they earned it. Some were given everything and lost it all. I touched every walk of life, from the 5-figure earner, the 6-figure earner, decamillionaires, and a couple of billionaires. So throughout my tenure in that industry and my coaching tenure, I've just been an aggregate of this information on a psychological and a tactical level, just studying these wild, successful people.
So you were a total disruptor early in your life. So you lived this. This is not just you coaching it. You actually lived it.
I went from being an $8 an hour floor trainer to I've made up to $400 per hour in doing various versions of meeting somebody and helping them out. I've also scaled a business, and I've done that jump relatively quickly within the industry. And a lot of it had to do with the self-confidence and the awareness of what I was actually offering, not exactly what I wasn't offering relative to my competition.
Yeah. Total disruptors build a network. You delved into it, and I'm glad you went there. Talk about how disrupting builds that network of these high level people that can give you resources, but also introduce you to other people. How'd that work for you?
Well, I never overstepped. I knew my role, and I wasn't talking. I wasn't taking uh, my audience, and I wasn't just going, "Hey, by the way, I've got 18 supplements I can sell you. I know a guy who's doing a real estate deal. Would you like to get involved? Hey, I know this opportunity." I didn't step on my area. I stayed in my lane, and I learned a key thing: patience and persistence. There's a balance. You can be patient and you can be persistent, but you got to be persistent patiently. You don't want to, and you know this because you're a master connector. You know, if you're trying to grow and build a network, you can't, quote unquote, sell everything to everybody. You've got to meet people where they are. And even if it's the opportunity there is there to introduce something to somebody, it may not be the right time. Hit the pause button. Sitting at a baseball game with a potential client because you got introduced may not be the right time to start introducing what you do and pitching somebody. Okay. It just might not be the right audience. I don't care who you're sitting next to.
Love that story because that happens a lot. Golf courses, same thing. Hey, what are you doing? You know, they start pitching. You built relationships, and do you still have relationships with some of these people today, years later?
100%. I quickly scaled a six and low mid six figure fitness business with no website, no marketing, no flyer, no sign, not even I think I had business cards at one point, and then I just didn't even bother. That is not a lie. Part of it was I built a network. People knew who I was. I told people the exact way to get me in touch with somebody. And then what I did was the key here is I massage my network routinely. I mean, so my outbound was weekly connections with my network, checking in with people. Hey, how's it going? How have you been? How you feeling? How are the kids? How so and so? Did you get that project you got done? Just checking in. Boom. 3 days later, I get a phone call. So, hey, Dr. So-and-so referred me over to you. Can you help me out with my XYZ problem? Sure. No problem. How's 24 to 48 hours from now? Are you free tonight? Are you free tomorrow? Or are you free the next day? Let's meet. There's a quick teaching formula for you, Steve.
Your own lead gen costs you absolutely nothing.
Nothing. A little bit of time. 15 minutes and text messages.
Yeah. But the value add, that's one of your big superpowers is a value add. You're trying to add value. You did it to me. And I think I did it for you. And that's what I love about us.
100%.
Back and forth. I don't think we ever talk numbers ever.
No, not one thing.
We're both growing, building that relationship. That's the key word. I read your bio. That's where I heard you were fitness entrepreneurs. How did you get a startup status to six-figure incomes with fitness entrepreneurs, which I'm very curious about?
So you mean the B2B stuff or the B2C stuff?
B2B or both, okay. Either one.
So, well, B2C, again, I just did the matrix of the 8,800 a month that you need to make, or 8,800, whatever that matrix is, $8,880 a month times 12 is 100 grand. And, coming from retail, when I was 21, I was managing 3 different large bicycle chain retail stores. I was making $26,500 a year. I was not getting comp for gas. I was driving over 10 hours a week to do all these stores. And they were short on managers and I was getting burnt out. I had quit there. I had went to work for a gym as a floor trainer at $8 an hour. And then from there, I started getting niched and specialized, raising my rates. And I did the math. I learned some skills and then I raised my rates. Then I subcontracted out 5 different people, had them working for me and did a mathematical matrix, B2C. B2B, which means business to business, I partnered up with a guy named Robert Raymond and it was called Achieve Fitness and then Achieve Fitness Systems. And now it's called Achieve Systems. That's where you and I met. I'm the president of Achieve Systems. And Rob and I partnered up. He already had conferences going. We started with fitness professionals, helping them build and grow businesses, write books, sell equipment, invent equipment. Rob had a lot of contacts. I had a lot of savvy. I had a lot of street experience. And from there, we just grew that network, word of mouth, one-to-one invites, and a lot of sweat. And then we got more people to do the same thing and more people to do the same thing. We don't do any paid advertising. We do people-to-people invites to our conferences.
Community is the key. You build
again,
community.
We circle back to that, Steve. We circle back to community and we circle back to work. If you don't have a bankroll and advertising experience, you're going to have to put in sweat equity. You're not going to be the overnight YouTube sensation. The overnight YouTube sensation has been doing it for a very long time. One of their things just happened to hit. And they've got the street credit no matter what they're doing. I don't care if they're spinning plates. They've nothing wrong with spinning plates, by the way, but they've got the street credit and the reps. You just put them in front of a larger audience. They're doing the exact same thing. And that's all we do. That's all we're talking about here.
Powerful. That is so powerful. What mindset did you change? Because I talk to entrepreneurs like you do, don't want to change their prices. Well, you went from $8 an hour to $400 an hour. People listening are like, yeah, hand up, I want to do that. It had to be a mindset change. Maybe not. Tell me what changed to go, hey, Steve, I'm charging you $400 an hour.
I looked around the marketplace. All right, let me frame this up. I don't want to make this too long of a story. But in where I was operating, I had the luxury of being in an environment where if I was a member of this health club for $29 a month, somebody else was a member of the health club for $29 a month, I could work with that person unrestricted. So they did not have their own fitness or wellness staff. The guy wanted to just pack this place and he opened 15 locations, eventually had personal training, but talk about a vision. The guy that owned this sold it to Gold's Gym for $30 million. This was a strip center, nothing big, called Fitness First. You can look it up. It was called Fitness World and Fitness First. Inside this environment, out of about maybe a 10,000 square foot environment, there were 47 other trainers in that building, if not more. Any given time training on the floor, I counted one day, there were 27 people doing what I was doing. So yes, I could start a business. I was in a crowded marketplace. I had the opportunity to look around and say, okay, what is he or she not doing? What is he not doing? What is so-and-so doing? Who has a following? How are they dressed? What is their demeanor? How are they executing things? How can I be similar but different? How can I be original without being condescending towards my competition? So I picked a gap. I was ahead of the curve a little bit with the movement, mobility, and pain management side of things. And I got in there and I said, okay, I'm doing something a little different. Now I'm on my own. I left the $8 an hour thing. Now I'm on my own. I'm going to go to 50. I talked to somebody. I said, okay, I'm going to go to 65. I took a couple of other courses. I had a guy work with me once who was ahead of me in some of these courses. I could tell what I was offering was a lot better than him, and he started charging 100. So I said, you know what? I'm immediately $100. Then the second I started getting at $100, I said, wow, I'm getting some growth here. I'm going to raise my rates, and I'm going to keep raising them and keep raising them. Then I ran into an upper class kind of people. So I would walk into a guy who was, this guy's a billionaire. I'm not going to name his name. I don't have permission. I'm not lying about this. He paid me $400 an hour for him and 275 or $300 for anybody else I would do any kind of body work or fitness with. I would go to his house. I would be there for 5 or 6 hours a day. And I would just rep people, security people, his wife, anybody else. I would just sit there and be of service. It was amazing. I would clear $2,000 to $3,000 in a day's work from one guy. Now, granted, this guy had his own medical staff watching me the entire time. There's security people. It was a little bit tense. There's doctors watching me do what I'm doing. But the reason I tell this story is I went from being a guy who's wearing a t-shirt and wind pants, okay, to a t-shirt and shorts, feeling very confident to be able to come into a person who had massive success in life, contribute value, be honest in what I was doing, throw myself into my work, and feel really quality about the body of work that I did for that day and walk away duly compensated for it. And that's how the internal disruption switch that I flipped that gave me the confidence was just knowing what I offered the marketplace and not caring about what everybody else was doing.
Mike, that's $1 million tip right there. I'm glad you shared that story. I didn't know it. No, being in the fitness industry, you had all the control. You took control of it. Love it.
Yeah.
And how do you bring a service heart into all this? Because I know you have that.
How do I?
Yeah.
First of all, you start by listening to what people need. Okay. I mean, and you can tell, like you worked at desk or you worked up front for a while, right? For your family.
Oh, yeah.
And what a front man. Come on. You see Steve Ramona, you're never quitting that gym. This guy's got you. I'm already ready to go. I see Steve Ramona there. I feel like giving the guy a hug when I walk by. I mean,
love it. Love it.
I don't care. The gym could be falling apart around me. That's Steve at the front desk is really saving my experience here.
I love it.
So again, I'm going to go right back to this industry. And this is why this industry is, even coaching, you can get a little too deep down the old self-help road. You get to hear the backstory behind somebody and how they're uncomfortable, they're suffering, they're unhappy with where they are. It doesn't have to be this deep, dark, depressive thing. They just want to be somewhere else. They're coming to a professional. Chances are they've been to many other professionals. And a servant's heart goes, instead of knowing my stuff and going, okay, we're going to start you here, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, you got to try this modality, this method. Let me hear where you've been. Let me hear what you're currently doing. Let me hear what didn't work. Let me hear what your expectations are and your timelines. And then let me put together something and let me respect everybody that came before me. Because everybody before me that quote unquote didn't get the results, you might have had a different conversation with them. It's not necessarily another coach or a person or a system's fault, but you have to listen and you have to serve. Then you flip that disruption switch where now you got the person, you've got to disrupt them a little bit, coax them into your ecosystem with the respect of the process they've gone through. Because in some cases, you could be running into a multi-year problem and then throwing it down and throwing your heart behind it. And even if you don't quite succeed, you will succeed in getting that person's loyalty, respect, and whether they are not a repeat customer every day, week, month, year, they will be a repeat customer within a 5-year cycle.
That's, I mean, you nailed it. Because yeah, somebody wants to lose 30 pounds and they've lost 20 or 15. Yeah, they didn't hit their goal, but I guarantee working with you, Mike, they felt better. They walked out into the world going, I feel better. Still working on my goals, and not just physically, it's mentally because you cared about them.
Well, the other thing too, Steve, was I focused not as a fat loss guy. I was surrounded by fat loss people. I focused on movement, pain, and quality of life. So here's another tip. I was getting referrals from fat loss people where we shared sometimes in the same day, the same clients. They would see me working with their client, confident knowing I'm not stealing the business. I'm enhancing their business. I'm making their life easier. That referral to me was safe. I'm a safe guy who goes, hey, go back to your other person. We're a team here. We're a community here. It just so happened, yes, we were in an area where people could afford to work with 2, 3, 4 professionals.
Yeah.
But that's not my fault. I'm just in that area. Yeah, my point to the audience here is if you stay in your lane, you play the long game, you have the servant's heart, not only are you serving the customer, you're serving your referral source and you're staying in your lane. There you go. That's
Well,
a win-win.
yeah, so we say the same thing because that's what I say. And I know he lives this audience because when I saw him at the event, people were coming up to him like they were best friends. How would you like that in your business? You've got people coming to you like best friends or friends, not just acquaintances, but hey, Mike, how you doing? How'd this thing go? It was great seeing that. It excited me because that's what I love with what I'm doing. We're getting to the end here. I want to bring you back for part two. I know you weren't prepared, but we're going to do in a couple months, 6, 7 weeks. I want to bring you back because there's more we can delve into. But I want to ask, yeah, you're just a rock star, absolute rock star. Let's have some fun. So you've got a reservation at a restaurant. It's a 4-top. There's 4 seats. You're going to sit in one of the seats. The other 3 seats that are empty, who are you going to invite, dead or alive? Why are they going to be sitting in that chair? And what food would you order?
Big question. All right. I'm going to say this is going to sound like kind of a loaded answer. I'm definitely inviting you, Steve, because every time I'm sitting down, I can't get enough of our conversations. And whoever the other 2 people are, they're going to be thankful that you and I are on the same table.
Love it. So no, that's appreciate that.
I would say, go ahead, Steve.
Any other 2 you want to invite, or just?
I mean, that's a big question. Who else would I invite to dinner? I would invite Steve Jobs to dinner. I would like to pick his brain on how early the visions were, and then what were the struggles to get to where it went from idea to action. That dinner would have to be like 10 years. And then I would actually, if I had to invite somebody else, I think I would actually like to invite Gandhi. I would like to invite Gandhi because I want to get educated on how to put the brakes on everything. I want to get educated on the subtraction addition model. I want to get educated on how to get quiet to get loud, how to pare down, how to be more solid inside, and that constitution and what it takes without technology, without the heavy lift, without the mega affirmations, without the robust stuff. So I think as an odd pair, that would be a fun dinner. I would get surf and turf with the side of some sort of steamed vegetable.
Amen. Okay, I'm sitting at that table. I am taking over. Sorry, audience, but I'm going to take one of those reservations. It's awesome. Mike, thank you so much for bringing such enlightenment to this show, to my audience, and just being valuable. I mean, that's a great, you and Jake are just valuable. And since I've met you in the last few months, I appreciate our friendship because it is a friendship more than anything. And yeah, hosts can have their friends on because when they're powerful like this, I've got to share them. So it's powerful. How can people support you, find you, connect with you?
So go to total-disruption.com. That's total, TOTAL with a hyphen, DISRUPTION.com, total-disruption.com. All the information you need to get engaged. Check out our show, check out our guild, which is where we coach people. Jake and I coach people in a group format. It's fantastic. We donate to the Wounded Warriors and we donate to Boys and Girls Club of America. Please come check us out. Just DM me on the social channels. Michael Libercci, you'll find me, bald guy, big smile. Look for Total Disruption. I'd be happy to help anybody. Just make sure you say Steve Ramona sent you so I know where you're coming from and I can help you in any way, shape, or form.
And you'll find their TV show because I have a TV show. I won't even announce it. E360TV.com. Look up for Total Disruption. Look up Together We Serve. We both have a TV show. Again, it was just God's, and it's my thoughts. God's just put us together from that event to now we have TV shows together. We work together. So I thank you again. Audience, do me a favor. Comment on the YouTube channel about this show. Comment about Mike, information, and reach out. I can reach out to Jake too and get them connected and talk about, critique my show. I love any feedback, good or bad. to help this make better, because if you make this show better, we're helping more people. That's what all me and Mike want to do. And me and Mike want to thank you so much for watching and listening to this episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. We'll see you on the next episode. Have a great day.